What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys. EXO-6 has given us another pre-order window opening from Undiscovered country. Of course, we're talking about General Chang, and to be honest, one of my favorite characters from that film originally, so I'm excited to see this guy coming to our collections, but I also definitely have some thoughts, as I tend to traditionally do. So stick around if you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. Live long and prosper, of course. And let's get into it.
YouTube, the final frontier. These are the episodes of the Ben Thomas Show. My continuing mission to explore strange new Star Trek reviews, to seek out new Star Trek collectors and new badass collectibles, and to boldly go where no Trek collector has gone before.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So, a couple things about the character first before I talk about the figure. Of course, General Chang is a badass. Let's be honest. I mean, the guy quotes Shakespeare and Klingon, so clearly he has that little bit of a soft side in his heart, right? But in all seriousness, I mean, he's there to create chaos, right? He doesn't believe in the peace between Starfleet and the Klingon Empire, and he kind of is there to undermine everything that Chancellor Gorkon is trying to do, and I would love to see a Chancellor Gorkon figure at some point to go along with Chang here as well. I think that would be amazing, but that remains to be seen. In terms of the character, I would love to put this guy in the display. For me, it was one of the first times I'd ever seen a Klingon without hair, which was really strange, and also the badassery of this character. He literally has an eye patch that looks like it's bolted into his face, and as a kid I was like, man, like, how does that not hurt? Or maybe it does, and he's just a badass. Hard to say, but I am excited, obviously, as you can tell, to see this character coming to fruition. Now, I definitely have a few notes, not even with regards to the figure all that much. He doesn't look very posable, but maybe that's just the person who was taking the photos isn't very familiar with posing 6 scale, or the outfit is very restrictive and will make it difficult to pose. I think in the display he's going to look badass either way, so I don't think it's a huge deal breaker if he's not all that dynamically posable. He has a leather-like material all over his body, which I would be a little nervous. At some point, of course, we're going to have that flaking and peeling like we tend to get with this kind of material. And at this price point of $285 plus a $25 ship rate, looking to finish pre-order end date by February 4th and ship by the third quarter of the year, 2025, it's an expensive price tag to not have slightly nicer materials in there. Now, one could argue, which I'm sure some of you will, well, Ben, this is a unique design. It's not going to be something that they can copy and paste all that much. But let's be honest, the accessories here are kind of boring. We're getting the same old school retro Klingon blaster that Krug came with. So that was a rinse and repeat accessory. I'm happy to have it, don't get me wrong, but I don't even remember him actually having that in there. I think they've just thrown that in for an accessory piece, which is nice, but again, increasing the cost of the figure. But otherwise, he basically just comes with hands and a holster. Like, he's very stripped down. You're paying for, in my opinion, the difficult way that this character must have had to be constructed. Or some hype around the character. Because let's be honest, I don't understand why some of these other figures can be so much cheaper when this has to be such a high price point. This is in that Hot Toys range now. So that goes to my next kind of criticism here. If you're going to charge $285 for a figure, so basically Hot Toys level pricing, you need a better photographer. What's happened? Why are we getting still blurry photos from these release photos or these announcement photos? It doesn't make sense to me. I like the idea, being a Star Trek fan, of seeing, Chang here up, in front of an environment that's recognizable as Star Trek. But I think there's something to be said about having blogger photos or even announcement photos on a pretty blank screen, right? Something that doesn't take away from the figure you're intending to sell us. Because he's so expensive and now he's blurry, it's a bit of a miss for me. It's a disappointment every single time. So I really hope at some point, especially as they progress, that they honestly stop doing this. I know that it's kind of seemingly like a marketing strategy that they have, that, oh, they have to put this guy in front of a Star Trek environment for us to recognize that it's Star Trek. But you don't. We're all Star Trek fans. We know what film he comes from. We can envision it in our brains. I would rather see the figure clearly. So that's my main real big complaint, because I think the actor likeness, Christopher Plummer, rest in peace, good sir, he played this role amazingly. I definitely see Christopher Plummer in this head sculpt, and because he doesn't have any hair like Krug does, I don't have any issue with the sculpted on mustache. Like my Krug had a sculpted mustache, or goatee almost, and like soft touch hair, I thought that looked weird. It was a weird separation, but this guy doesn't have that, so I actually think it looks better this way, and I'm totally fine with that. I think there's some subtle inaccuracies with the outfit, but not even really worth mentioning, because of course whenever you scale down a figure into 6 scale, you're going to lose some of those details that just can't be very effectively recreated, and you'd have to be an absolute expert on this costume in order to catch it. So I personally think it does look really good. Does it look good enough for $285? Well, if the pictures were clearer, I'd be able to give you a clearer answer. For me, I think this looks still like an 8 to an 8.5. I'm way happier with this announcement than I ever would have been with that freaking Wesley Crusher that we saw a couple weeks ago. And I'm happy to see Nanjin already reporting that this guy is having good sales. For me, this likely will go in my basket, despite my displeasure with the price, because I love the character. And let's be honest, they're a smart business because they know we all feel that way. But this is one that I feel like I don't need to advocate for significant improvement on like I did with Wesley Crusher. This is one that I think does look pretty great. And if you're a Chang fan, it's a kind of an exciting day. It's a pretty exciting day, I will say. What do you guys think about the price point? I mean, Krug was up there in price too, but again, he had soft touch hair material as well, and a unique costume and some of those types of things. So, yeah, I mean, Krug also did come with the overcoat even though. Like, this guy, for the price, feels a little expensive. But all that to say, if it's a good figure, and he looks awesome in hand, and he comes out this good, like I've said before, for better or for worse, in my opinion, EXO-6's prototypes typically look like what we get at Final. I don't really think that there's an improvement, but I also don't think that there's a backtrack either. Usually, for better or for worse, you kind of get what you see on the screen. And so I think that that's pretty good. I think this one is a great likeness for Christopher Plummer's Chang, and I am excited to pair him up next to a Krug, or maybe down the line a Chancellor Gorkon, or some of the other great cast and characters from Star Trek The Undiscovered Country. Keep them coming, EXO-6, and don't stop on the Star Trek Next Generation line, because I still really want a Riker, I really want my Worf, I really want my Deanna Troi. I've got an incomplete line sitting there staring at me right now, so keep them coming. But if you guys like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. Let me know what you guys think of General Chang here, the price point, the likeness. I'd be happy to discuss some Trek in the comments later today when I get the chance. But otherwise, live long and prosper, and thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes it feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.